Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives on how to approach a career in the field from different artists, producers, engineers, and other great minds who share their stories on not only what's made them succeed, but also what has shaped them into the people that they are today. I hope you gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you in your endeavors on your own journey towards success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 148 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today I welcomed an artist and a producer I've been connected with for the past couple years. His name is Novo Heights. He joined us this week from Las Vegas. He's actually currently interning at a local studio in Vegas, and he talked about what he's been learning from that, just learning more chops on engineering and learning how to mix his own records. He's been producing for the past few years, and he talked about, the decision to become an artist, start putting his vocals over his production, and most recently producing for different artists. How that is one of his biggest goals this year is to produce for many new different artists. And I'm looking forward to it. We talked about his newest releases, a few singles and an EP that led off the year, the stories behind those. Overall, I think, him just building his consistency and really just having a real purpose behind what he's doing. And I can tell he's very passionate about it. And like I said, I love his sound. So I encourage you all to go check out his stuff after the episode. But without further ado, let's get into this one. All right, welcome everyone to episode 148 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creators Series. Today I got a guy, man, I've been connected with him at least the last couple of years. We don't know the exact date, but he does a lot of cool things. He recently just dropped an EP this past Friday, which we're going to talk about, a lot of cool things. Novo Heights is here. How are you, man?
What up, man? I'm good. How are you?
Dude, I'm great. And like I said, thanks for, agreeing to do this, be on the show and everything. And, to start off every episode, we have the guest give some background. How long have you been doing music? How did you originally get into it? Basic information for those that might not know you and what you do.
For sure. Yeah, man, I've been doing music. I've been making beats since I was like 18. I'm 29 right now. So it's been a little over 10 years. But I really started taking it serious, like, probably about 6-7 years ago. So, that's when I really started making, like, my own music, not just beat. But, yeah, man, I've been releasing music for probably about 6 years now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And it's good to hear that, you kind of just get to that point where you're like, you want to stay more consistent with it, too. Because I've heard a lot of people where even if they started out early, they might have just kind of, maybe they knew it as a kid, but they didn't know that they could make something out of it or like even be an artist themselves. So kind of just doing that. And what do you make beats on? Like, did you start on the same DAW you're on now, or are you on something else now? Like, what are you on?
Oh man, I started on some like real cheap DAW. It was like, I think it was called Sony Acid Music Studio or something. It was like $50.
Yeah.
I just started with that. And then once I started taking it serious, I got FL Studio. Mm-hmm. And I still use that to this day. I use Logic a little bit here and there, but
I was gonna say I've been FL the whole time, man. I'm FL 12 for me. I haven't got the update or anything. Like I was telling someone last week, I'm like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like I always feel like comfortable. I'm just like, I don't even need the update, to be honest. But
yeah, I feel you, man. I was using 12 for years.
Yeah.
But I just upgraded to 21.
Yeah.
I got a new book. I was like, I might as well.
I saw they're doing a lot of cool things, and I'm getting a new laptop soon. So when I get the new one, I might have to go with the new version just to do it. Yeah. But I've loved 12, even on my parents' old computer. I had like the 9th version or the 10th one or whatever was before that. So I was on the demo version, making just the little drum patterns and stuff. So that's awesome. Yeah. And that whole thing about like a different software too. I remember being in college at like an audio class, and they gave us like the first ever version of Audacity from like the early 2000s, and I'm like, you can't do anything on this. And they're trying to get us to learn stuff. I'm like, yeah, I definitely can't go that route. I got to get something a little better. but
Yeah, yeah.
that brought back flashbacks for sure, man. So for you though, what, let's just say coming up or even now, because I can tell just from hearing your stuff, you like a lot of different styles. You like to combine a lot of different things and do a lot of stuff with your music. So like, who are some inspirations for you, artist wise, even producer wise as well, that you really gravitate towards?
Oh man, there's so many. I would say like growing up, my biggest influence was probably like Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Drake. Um, but I mean, like I get into other genres and like I fuck with like R&B, like Frank Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like when I was a kid, like the first shit I ever grew up on was like really like Nirvana and sort of like that post grunge stuff in the early 2000s. So yeah, I mean, I got a lot of different things that are like influencing me all the time. So I kind of like one day I'll wake up and I want to make a trap beat, and the next day I might make like a rock song.
Yeah.
So it's like it really depends on how I'm feeling, but yeah.
I was gonna say, was that? I think I saw you post that the other day about how you want to just kind of make the music you want, and like one day you could be feeling one thing, and then the next day you're feeling something totally different, and just that inspiration like hits you, and you're able to just go in because you can make beats. You know what I mean? I think a lot of artists, if they don't have that ability, they might have to wait for the right producer to lock in with them to be able to get that sound out. But I think like if you're doing both, that's got to be a big time like advantage for you to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think having like the I don't know the word I'm looking for here. The diversity is it's a plus for sure.
Yeah.
Like it helps.
Yeah.
Especially with like like there's different like songwriting tactics in different genres too.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can take like songwriting tactics from like a rock song or R&B standpoint, like, and bring it into rap, like I think that helps too with like creating hooks and choruses.
Yeah. It's cool that we are in a spot, because you were talking about like those artists like Kid Cudi, Kanye, all that. Like I remember that era, kind of the late 2000s, early 2010s, where there was just so many artists coming out and so many new sounds and things like that, and it felt like that was a great time. I feel like since probably the streaming era began, especially, and we've been able to discover more artists and everything, it's almost like that but in a different way, and a lot of genres are like crossing and new sounds are being made and everything. It's really cool to see that is becoming more like accepted, I guess, because there's obviously more people making music because it's more accessible, but it's just like the genres are kind of being bent a lot, but it's really good, you know what I mean? And just kind of trying to find where your sound is in that. So
yeah, it's interesting times we're in right now, man. And like I remember when X dropped his album in like 2018, the one with like the question mark.
Yeah.
I think that was just called like the question mark album, but
I was gonna say that was like that SoundCloud rap era, that 2016 through like 2018.
Yeah, but that album itself, like I remember listening to that and being like, wow, dude, like it's like one song doesn't sound like the next song. He mixed so many genres in that album. I feel like that was a big like turning point for like artists to be like, wow, we can pretty much just do whatever we want.
Yeah. And it's like it's created so many different like subgenres and different things, and it's really great to see. I think that's only going to continue as things move along, where the way we look at genres traditionally will probably just be, I don't know about completely obsolete, but it'll probably be a lot different than we're used to, especially for people like me and you, because I'm 25, so I still remember like long before streaming when it was kind of like it was either this or that, you know what I mean? And now it's kind of like a lot more. But it opens up the creative possibilities like tenfold. So I think it's great. For you personally, though, like let's say the songwriting and stuff. So since you can make your own production, you're making probably, I assume, most of your songs from scratch. What's that like for you to be able to, come up with the beat, write to it? Is there a certain process that you're comfortable with now as opposed to, the 5 or 6 years ago when you started, or?
Yeah, man, I actually like just in the past like year or two started being able to write to my own beats. Like for the longest time, I would make beats and I'd be like, I don't even know how to approach this. I feel like nobody else really knew how to either.
It's like a weird. It's like a weird feeling, probably.
Yeah, and maybe it was just the way I was structuring my beats or something. I don't know, but like the past year or so, I really started to like it just like clicked and I got it. But I mean, since I've been releasing music, I still work with other producers too. Like I like collaborating, and sometimes I just don't feel like producing my own stuff, and I'll just go to somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it just depends on what I'm trying to accomplish with it. But like recently, like I just been like all the songs I've been dropping in the past like month or two have really just been like me taking like older demo songs and just like putting new beats on them and like reworking everything.
Yeah.
So I mean that's really been like a breakthrough for me, and like being able to like put my vocals over my own beats.
So talk about the recent releases, because you did what, First Time and Glow, and I think there was one more single. I forget the name of it. You did another one, I think, like at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And then
I did a few more. Yeah. There was Silver Lining, Glow, Millennium, In My Hands, and First Time.
Yeah. So what?
And I dropped the EP.
Was that the? So yeah. So tell me about the singles first. Like, was there a strategy as far as like starting the year off with those, and even December? I think you dropped one of those as well. I think Millennium was in December. Was there like a strategy behind that, or you're just trying to build that consistency with what you have now because you feel like you're confident in what you have to put out here?
I think it was really just like I reached a point where I was like, wow, I haven't put out any music in the last like year. I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like start putting out everything I got.
Yeah.
Like that's when I started going back to all the demos and just being like, let me just like make new beats and make everything new again and start putting it out.
Is that?
Go ahead. Yeah, I knew I was gonna drop the EP, so I was like, I might as well just put out a bunch of singles before I drop the EP, just to like gain a little momentum.
Yeah. Hey there, hope you're enjoying this episode. Just wanted to take a quick minute out and let you know how you can become a monthly supporter of the show. So thanks to our good friends here at Anchor, who we distribute the podcast through. They allow listeners to support monthly. If you go to anchor.fm/proven knowledge, you'll be able to become a monthly supporter. You can donate monthly, either 99 cents, $5, or $10 a month, and your contributions go towards, getting new guests, keeping the show thriving, and really, we do this stuff for you guys. So, if you feel the need to want to support and give back to the show, it's going to go a long way towards making the show better and continuing on and putting out episodes every week. So something to consider. Like I said, go to anchor.fm/proven knowledge, or if you go on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your podcast streaming platform, you'll be able to see the link up in the show notes. So thank you guys very much for your support, and let's get back into this episode. Now the EP you had some instrumentals on there too, I believe. So was that like you wanted to do both and just kind of like mix it up and just put out like those 4 songs?
So like, what do you mean by like instrumentals? Like just like rap beats?
Well, I thought the last song was like a full-on just the instrumental and everything. So I didn't know if there was like a point to that, or if it was just like you wanted to kind of have a mixed bag for people to listen to check out the different styles as well.
Right. That last song was really just like an outro. Like I kind of just like threw some very quiet vocals over it and kind of just let it ride. Yeah. Like I just thought it was a cool vibe, just to like work as an outro. But yeah, I don't usually drop just like random instrumentals or anything. Like, I mean, I just started producing for people. Like that Tanola Victoria girl who was on First Time. She just dropped a song that I produced called Lights Out. That was like the first song that I ever produced for anybody else. So, I mean, like, I don't know, I kind of forget your question, but
No, you
But
you
yeah,
basically answered it. It's kind of just like it wasn't. You kind of just like went with the vibe in the moment, pretty much with that.
yeah,
So yeah, and that's interesting too about kind of just. It's almost like you stockpiled for over a year with this with the music you were making, and then now you're able to just kind of put it out and like have people enjoy it as well. And I think like I don't know, because obviously I'm not an artist, so I can't like produce for myself and like put vocals on and stuff. But it'll probably be different because I feel like you're definitely going to be producing for more artists eventually as well, and like continue to grow that side. So it'll be cool to see like both sides grow together. You know what I mean? As far as like your own artist music and then doing tracks for others and just seeing that go and having those both go, like
yeah,
you can take that so many places, man. So congrats on that. Even though that's like you said, it's your first time doing that. That's gonna be big. So
bro.
yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
mean, that was like, I mean, that's really what I got into this thing in the beginning for. Like, I really just wanted to be a producer.
Yeah.
Like, and then over time, I realized like I could probably like make some songs myself.
Hmm.
And but that's something I really want to get back to. It's just like just producing for other people. I mean, I've been making a lot of beats, so
Yeah,
hopefully that's something that happens this year in the future.
for sure, man. And do you have any other collaborators or people that you've been working with that you want to shout out on the show?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've done a lot of songs with a good friend of mine. His name is Joshua James. We grew up together. Um, Also, some guys I met in Boston by the name of, it's a band called Street Cult. They're here with me now in Vegas. I like intern at this studio that Dean from Street Cult, he's like the head engineer there. Those guys are like fucking wizards, man. They're talented. But
What's that experience been like to do that, like intern at a studio? Is that just for learning and kind of just figuring out some new stuff for yourself as well?
well, that's like the main reason I'm here in Vegas. Like I was in California for a couple of years, but like I had the opportunity to intern at this like super nice studio. So I was like, man, that's gonna be like the best learning experience I could
Hmm.
have. So yeah, man, I just been learning a lot, like from everything from like live sound to like using analog gear and running a mixing board, and I mean like I've had clients too, so it's been going really well.
Yeah, that's great to hear, man. It's definitely good, I think, to kind of do that. And I was talking, I think it was the last episode I did about with the guest about kind of like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone too, in a way, because I feel like that's probably a new experience for you, where you're trying to just like dive in and see everything you can learn. So I think
Yeah,
that's great that you're doing that, and like that's probably only gonna take you even further. And the lessons you'll learn there, you'll be able to apply them like way down the line too. So that's great,
yeah.
man.
I mean, even like I think like even just learning like more about mixing and mastering is really what pushed me to drop a lot of those songs too, because all the singles I put out, I was like very self sufficient. I did everything myself.
Hmm.
So like before that, I would have never had the confidence to like release a song that I mixed and mastered myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still probably not a great mix and master, but like it really pushed me to like be able to have the confidence to do it
Hmm.
myself.
Yeah. Shout out to every engineer out there because that's a hard job. Like,
For sure.
yeah, very hard job, and I still to this day like I'll rough mix my stuff, but the majority of the final stuff, especially like if I'm working with an artist and want to put it out, like I'll get my engineer to help me out with it. But definitely like
Yeah, yeah,
learning that and just applying that to what you're doing. I just feel like everything takes as much time as you need it, and then like once you learn it and then you start getting the hang of it, it's like in your arsenal. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
great stuff, man. And again, congrats on putting yourself out there and doing that. And I think that's gonna be great, man. The things you can do with that is incredible. So
Yeah, man. Oh
is
yeah.
is there anything other than music, like any hobby, any leisurely activity that you do to kind of recharge your creative brain, essentially, and kind of just you need a break from things, you want to go live life a little bit, and then come back. And where do you really get inspiration from? Like, what are some of those things for you?
Um, I don't have many hobbies, man. I like sports. I like, like I'll go through stages of like, I don't know, like I'll go play some pickup basketball, stuff like that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? But like, I mean, other than that, man, I just like play some Call of Duty if I need to get my mind off something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
just like simple stuff. But I mean, a lot of the inspiration I get really comes from like movies and just real life.
Yeah.
Like, I find that like you watch like a really fucking good movie, I could write like a whole album after that. I feel like
Right.
I get a lot of inspiration from movies.
Yeah. I feel that 100%. Do you ever get in, because this happens to me a lot, where you almost feel like if you do take a break, you're costing yourself time that you could use to like get better. You feel like you constantly have to be working to get better, and when you don't, you kind of feel guilty. Do you ever like feel that, or have you ever gone through that before?
Absolutely, yeah. I've definitely struggled with that before. Like, just always feeling like I could be working harder.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that idea of like, somebody's always out there working harder than you. So like, I don't know. I've definitely struggled with that, but I mean, I think there's a balance to it. Like, you gotta take breaks, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be on full go mode all the time. Otherwise, you're just gonna burn yourself out.
Yeah. I think it's really just like anything else. Like you said, the balance has to be there for your life in general. Like everything else in your life starts to suffer when one thing just is starting to drag you down, I think. So, and it's even like
100%.
that in creativity too. And I don't know, I feel like
Yeah,
that's like creatives have it more because we're just so like self-critical and we want to like do everything very meticulously and like on point. So when it feels like it's not there, then it just feels wrong and you just feel like, oh, if I go take a break, then it's not going to work out. But yeah, I definitely, and again, that just takes like so much time too, where you just have to kind of get to the point where you're okay with taking breaks and you just take it one day at a time and just see the slow and steady progress get there. So um, yeah,
exactly.
I definitely think that everyone eventually goes through it. So um,
Right.
is there anything else that we can be on the lookout for moving forward? Because you've done all this music to start the year. So, like, do you have even more ready to go? Are you doing more singles? Do you got some visuals? Like, what do you think is going to be the next move?
Yeah, I'm working on a video right now for the EP. Um, it's probably gonna be for the song Minutes. Um, that might probably in the next few weeks. I would look out for that, and then after that, I'm just gonna be making more music, man. Probably drop some more singles at some point, and then just producing, man. Like, I really want to produce other people this year,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something I'm working really hard at. So,
Yeah, man. That's all, and I'm looking forward to all of it, man. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for what you got coming up here. So definitely excited.
uh,
Last few questions here, and these are ones I ask on every episode. The first one is if you can go back 10 years ago, maybe give yourself a piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
hmm. um, I would say just like, I don't know. It might sound like a cliche answer, but like just keep going. Like, because there's been so many periods of my life where I felt like giving up on music, and probably around 10 years ago, like it could have went either way. I could have like went harder with music, and I could have just stopped. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It took till I was about like 24 or 25 to like really take it serious. So when I was 19, it could have went either way. So yeah, I would just say like just keep going, just keep working at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So if we flip that then and we say 10 years from now, where do you think you want to be in music and life in general?
I don't know, man. It's tough. 39.
It's hard to think ahead for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just want to be like involved in this music thing somehow, man. Like, who knows if I'm ever gonna like quote unquote make it, but like I just want to be in a self-sufficient space where I can make money and live my dream. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, the biggest goal for me is just to be able to like build up a big enough fan base to go on tour and make money from that. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be happy doing that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I don't need to be the most famous guy. I don't need to be, a billionaire. Like, I just want to fucking make music and make a living from it.
Yeah, man. Being able to have that sustainability and that just like financial freedom too. Great. Fantastic, man. I think you're going to get there for sure, man. So just keep doing what you're doing. And do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners?
Nah, man, just like go fuck yourselves, guys, you know?
Yeah.
I
was going to say that might be the best one yet.
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I could say like, don't waste your potential. I'm big on that. Like, if you got something you're talented at, like, give it everything you got. That's all I can say.
Yeah, man. Definitely feel that. And once again, man, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for your time. That's all I have for you, man. But I'm looking forward to everything you got coming out. And if you got those videos, all that music, man. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you do for other artists, too, man, because I love your sound and I love what you're doing. And we'll have to do this again soon, for sure. So,
thank you for having me.
Thanks, everyone, for listening today. That was episode 148. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit the support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.